Hello, everybody. We're going to be doing Chapter 10, Lesson 4 today, and it's multiplying whole numbers and fractions. I really like this lesson because it's actually going to end up being kind of fun. We're going to start basic and then get into some of the cool little tricks that you guys can do to make your life easier. So if you look at this first example, wild parrots spend 1/6 of the day looking for food. How many hours a day does a parrot spend looking for food? Well, if we remember that there's 24 hours in a day, and we know that 1/6 of those are going to be looking for food, and we remember that that multiplication sign means of, then we have 1/6 of 24, and here comes our problem. 1/6 times 24 over 1. Now, we're writing that 24 over 1 because we know that any whole number has a secret 1 underneath it, okay? And the reason we want to put this 1 under here is because it's going to make our life easier, and we're going to start being able to cut some corners, take some shortcuts by putting that 1 there, okay? Now, we know that you just go straight across with multiplication, so it's going to be 1 times 24, which gives us this 24. And then it's 6 times 1, which gives us this 6. And when we're simplifying, we really are just doing division, right? So 24 divided by 6, well, we know 4 times 6 is 24, so it's going to be 4. So those parrots spend 4 hours a day looking for food. Do you guys think you spend 4 hours a day looking for food? Maybe. All right. So this key concept, remember to always read these because they do help you. So to multiply a whole number by a fraction, you write the whole number as a fraction. That's exactly what I was telling you here. By putting that 1 under it, it becomes a fraction. So then you multiply the numerators and you multiply the denominators. Let's go to the next page. Okay. So now we're going to be finding the unknown in 2 times 4/5. Remember, this is the unknown. It's what we don't know. Anytime they show you a box like that, we're trying to fill in what we don't know. All right. So first of all, they're asking you to estimate, which is always a good idea so that you know that your answer is reasonable or not. So 2 times 4/5, we know that 4/5 is awfully close to 1. So that's why they gave us this 1 here. So that would be 2 times 1 would be about 2. All right. So my answer should be around 2 when we're done. All right. So same thing over here. We started with 2 times 4/5, but we know that we should make that whole number into a fraction. So they put the 1 underneath here. So it's going to be 2 over 1 times 4/5. Then we go and we start at the top. We multiply those numerators. So 2 times 4, we're going to put the answer right here, is 8. And 1 times 5 is 5. Now we have a little bit of a problem here because our numerator is bigger than our denominator, which means we now have an improper fraction. Improper meaning that it's not okay to have a number on top that's bigger than the number on the bottom. So we're going to simplify that out. Now we're going to say, okay, how many times can 5 go into 8? Well, 5 can only go into 8 one time. And then you have 3 left over, don't you? Because you have 6, 7, and 8. So you put those extra 3 here. The extra 3 here. And your denominator just moves straight over because you still have 5 pieces. You didn't change the amount of pieces. So you have 5. So your answer is going to be 1 3/5. Now let's check. Is 1 3/5 close to 2? I would say yes, because it's more than 1.5. It's very close to 2. Okay. So our unknown here was 1 3/5. Okay. Now let's check out this bottom one, this guided practice. We're going to find 1/2 of 4. Now, if you think about this one, it's not going to be very hard because I know that a half of 4 is going to be 2, right? Let's see if I'm right. So we take 1/2 times 4, 1/2 times, 4 over 1, because we have to make all those whole numbers into a fraction. And then we look at this. 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. And wait, 4 divided by 2 is 2. Do we need to simplify that anymore? Nope, we're all set. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a couple that I'm going to actually go down to number 9 right here. This one is actually kind of fun because you get to do something called cross canceling. And anybody who's worked with Alex on these with me before knows I love cross canceling because it's a way of simplifying before you even do the problem. So you're pre-simplifying the problem, okay? So we have 3 times 2/13. So I, of course, am going to make that whole number into a fraction. And then I'm going to look, and remember I'm calling it cross-canceling because we're going to look across the board. We're going to look this way. So I'm going to look at 1 and 2. And I'm going to look at 13 and 13. And I'm going to say, hey, is there any way that I can simplify those numbers? So I'm actually going to change pen colors here so you guys can see what I'm doing. I know if there's a 13 here and a 13 here, I can just cross out those 13s. They cancel each other. It's cross canceling. So those 13s cancel each other, and they're both going to become a 1. Okay? And if I look at this 2 and the 1, I can't really cancel anything with a 1, so I'm going to not bother with that one yet. And now I have 1 times 2 is 2. And I have 1 times 1 is 1, which if I do 2 divided by 1, I'm going to get 2. Okay? Now let's try something. I'm going to redo the problem down here so you guys can see that I wasn't just making it up. I actually know what I'm doing, but this time we're not going to cancel. We're going to do a problem without that pre-cross canceling, a pre-simplifying piece. Okay, so I'm just rewriting the problem here. And now, again, I'm not going to cancel anything first. I'm just going to do the problem. So 13 times 2, hopefully you're thinking, is 26. And that's my numerator. And now my bottom is 1 times 13. Okay, and that's a big number. I don't really love doing that kind of math, but I'm going to have to do it. So I have to do 26 divided by 13. Well, actually, I know 26 divided by 13 is 2. So see how these two numbers match here? Okay, so the cross canceling is just an easier way to get to the problem or to get to the answer so that you don't have to spend a lot of time getting there. Let's do number 4 because this one's going to be very similar to that cross canceling piece. I'm going to put a 1 under here like we've already said. And I'm going to say, hey, I could do 5 times 18, but that would be hard to do. So I'm going to look and see if there's any way to cross cancel this 6 and this 18 to make my life easy. How can I pre-simplify this problem? And I know that 6 goes into 6 and 6 goes into 18. So I'm going to go ahead and cross out the 6. 6 goes into 6 once, and 6 goes into 18 3 times. So now that I know that, I can do 5 times 3 is 15. And then do my denominators. 1 times 1 is 1. Okay? And anything over a 1, I know is a whole number 15, or you could say 15 divided by 1 goes 15 times. Now, isn't that a way easier way of doing the problem than having to go and do 5 times 18? right? And then dividing it by 6. It's just a much easier way to save time. All right, let's do number 5. With some of these, you won't be able to do the cross canceling because if I look at this problem, I don't really see anything that would work. 1 and 1 could cancel each other out, but aren't they just going to be 1 still? And 5 and 7, those don't work together. 5 can't go into 7. It just isn't going to happen. So 1 times 7 is 7. And 5 times 1 is 5. And are we done? No, because we need to now simplify that improper fraction. 5 can go into 7 one time. You have 2 extra pieces left over. And the denominator just slides. So it's 1 2/5. Okay? All right, guys. Good luck.